Hi, welcome back to Movie Review Mom. Today, the movie I'm reviewing is Crawl. This movie is rated R. It's 1 hour and 27 minutes, and the grade that I gave it is a B. Now, I've been under the weather, not feeling great, but I wanted to get this review out for you because today the movie opens. So basically, in a quick nutshell, it's gators and gore. So if you've seen the trailer and that looks really fun to you, then you're going to enjoy the movie. It's exactly what you think it's going to be. But if you look at the trailer and you go, well, that looks lame, then you want to skip this movie because that's exactly what you're going to think of the movie. So what's interesting is the timing of this movie, because as we're watching it in theaters, there's actually a hurricane brewing in the southern states of the United States coast. The film was actually inspired by a true event during Hurricane Florence with an alligator. And recently in Florida, there have been a lot of news clips and moments announcing that people have been killed by alligators. So it's somewhat believable in that regard. The movie was directed by a French director slash writer, Alexandre Aja, or Aha. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. Sometimes he directs, sometimes he writes, but in this movie, he actually directed, and he did a really good job. It's kind of a fun summertime flick that combines a disaster movie with horror and entertaining jump scares. And so if that's what you're in the mood for, then you're going to have a good time at the theater. It is rated R, and some parents are saying, well, why? Because I don't know. I guess they haven't seen it yet. Well, first of all, there's some profanity with several F-bombs. There are people in peril the entire time, basically. Blood and gore with bone and limbs. I think that's really what it is, alligators are chomping on people and their body parts and their bones are showing and there's blood. So that's gross. There's violence in that regard, lots of screaming. And then there are a couple of instances. There are girls in bathing suits at a swim meet and in a locker room at the very beginning that just show, lots of skin, and then talk of a girl being caught with a boy in high school. But really, it's that alligator, chomping action that's earning the R rating. Some themes are, if a hurricane is coming and you're told to evacuate, leave. I never understand people who try to stay by their house. I mean, it's just a house. Leave and protect what's really important, which is your family. An interesting line is by Dave, played by Barry Pepper, and he says, we may be stubborn, but we do not give up. And you definitely feel that element of fighters, that the two lead actors are real fighters, their characters and the actors themselves, as this movie is sure to give them a little bump up in their career. Family is certainly a theme, and definitely the father-daughter relationship. The two characters are pretty likable, and you root for them, although the most likable character is probably the dog Sugar. All the audiences are excited about this dog and whether or not the dog is going to survive, so I won't tell you. And then another theme is to just be prepared, and there are a couple of emergency preparedness tools that I highly recommend. One is this wind-up flashlight, which I have in all of my cars, in my house, in various spots in my house, as well as flares. Although I don't think mine are waterproof. And so grab a few of those, especially if you live in Florida, but really just to be prepared so that you can help yourself, because experts say that really in a real big disaster, you're not going to have medical care or emergency preparedness rescue workers within 72 hours. And so there's something called a 72-hour kit, which provides you with all the supplies you need if you need to evacuate or be able to help yourself with medical treatments or change of clothes, food, water, whatever. Anyway, I highly recommend that as well. Some other things that I liked is, first of all, I immediately liked the suspenseful music in the beginning. And I could tell, obviously, that Haley's skill in swimming was going to be coming in handy later in the storyline, which of course it did. The CGI is quite good. The alligators are believable generally. You get some pretty good up close looks at them, and you see their full body and you see lots of them. So that's fun, as opposed to a monster movie where you don't get to see as much. There are a few moments where the CGI doesn't look that great, but overall it looks really pretty good. And then, like I mentioned, I really like K.S. Godelario. She just does a really great job. She's very believable. I liked her a lot in Maze Runner as well. And she's just kind of got that look of intensity and determination on her the whole time, even when she's in the swim meet, which I think is really good. Another big plus, I'm losing my voice, is it doesn't take very long for the action to get started, basically 22 minutes, and the alligators are already going at it, and the movie is on. So that's good. The director doesn't waste a bunch of time doing character development. There's some of that, but it's just done really quickly, enough so you can get to what you really want to see, which is the alligators in the water attacking people, right? You definitely feel claustrophobic in tight spaces, and you feel uncomfortable, and so that increases the tension. The shots and the angles of the camera are very well placed to increase that tension as well. Let's see, I'm reading my notes here. Oh, by the way, the movie was filmed mostly in Serbia, which is kind of interesting. And I'm not sure if that was a budget thing, but they only spent $13.5 million on the film, but it actually looks like more was spent. So nice job, Paramount Pictures. The Rasmussen brothers created a pretty tight script and not a whole lot of lame dialogue, which sometimes you expect from movies like this. So that's good. The dialogue that existed was generally there to serve a purpose for character development and relationship building, although there were a couple of dumb lines. For example, the dad says, I don't need your help, and it's always somebody who really needs help that says that, right? And then the daughter, Haley, says to her dad, you don't know anything about me. Like, of course he does. And I just thought those were kind of dumb lines. But otherwise, there's lots of screaming. And then they do have some bonding moments where they try to share their deep feelings with each other in the moments of calm. And let's see, what else? A few things that I didn't like is, try not to think about this because then it'll ruin the movie for you, but several times people get arms chomped and legs chomped, and yet they're still able to run and walk and lift things, which is completely unreasonable and unrealistic. So just kind of try to just go with the flow, pun intended, and just enjoy it. Another thing that might drive you nuts is that a lot of homes in Florida don't have crawl spaces. And of course, the whole movie is basically in this crawl space of this house. So, whatever, pretend like that doesn't matter. And then it's just always really frustrating to watch people in perilous situations making dumb mistakes. You will roll your eyes a few times during the movie, but again, just kind of go with it and enjoy it. And then surprising, the movie kind of ended abruptly for me. I guess I wanted some more resolution or something, but whatever. Anyway, that's basically it. You go onto my website, moviereviewmom.com, and you'll see some interesting lines that I wrote down from the movie, some other little insights. But overall, if you're wanting to get out of the summer heat and into a theater with air conditioning, you'll probably have a good time and enjoy this while you're eating nice buttery popcorn at the theater. Anyway, I hope you enjoy it, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.